Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Harrison Barron, the Millennial Entrepreneur. Now, in this video, I want to talk to you guys a little bit how I started my business, what I do for work, and all that kind of stuff, and ultimately take my channel in a different direction. So I love LinkedIn. I think it's a phenomenal platform. I'm still going to be making videos on LinkedIn, but really just social selling in general, because I think there's so much to it. So social selling and content marketing, very similar. But I want to share a story about how I ended up getting all of this cool stuff and kind of learning and experimenting and all that kind of stuff. And I'll share my full story in another video. I think it is pretty important. But for the sake of this video, I want to talk to you guys literally how I started building my business and making money from clients with literally $0 in my bank account. So I left my company 2 years ago. I just hit my 2-year mark, and I had a couple paychecks left because they were willing to pay me for another 2 or 3 weeks because I gave them about a month's notice. And I had like no money in my pocket. I mean, no money. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to go do it. Now, before I left, I thankfully had a couple customers that were willing to back me and basically support me and buy my services during that time. And I started out as an SMMA, social media marketing agency. Now, this sounds crazy, but Gary Vee and Ty Lopez were a lot of my inspiration, and I knew that they were kind of selling snake oil, but at the same time, they were kind of talking about a dream that I knew I could achieve. So I went out and I started to try to find people that I could help them with social media. I didn't start out trying to sell people, hey, if you buy $1,000 in ads from me, I'll turn that into $4,000. No. Did not happen like that. I literally went out, I took my cell phone, and I went out and took photos and videos. And as time went on, I grew and got more clients and charged a little more money. I literally started out, when I first started, I was charging like $400 a month for 4 to 6 hours of taking footage on site and then going back to my office and cutting it up and editing and correcting the photos and all that kind of stuff for these accounts. And then I had to publish it for a whole month. It was a lot of work for a little money. But as time went on, I gained more and more clients. And I want to talk to you guys about really how I started it on another video. But I gained more and more clients, and then I got to have the cool stuff, right? The lights in the background, the light up here, my nice camera, my Sony a6400, my boom lens. I mean, my boom mic, right? It's literally right there. These are things that people don't think about, right? I didn't go out and take the best photos. What I was willing to do was I was willing to go out and take photos that the business owner or nobody in the business could take a good photo of. For example, I see a ton of restaurants who have a horrible social media because the people inside the companies don't actually know how to take good photos of their food, right? They're not getting either a light, or they're not making sure the light's distributed equally, or they're not looking at what's in the background. All of these different things go into a good photo. Thankfully, I had an interest years ago of photography, and I did a ton of homework thanks to a guy named Fro Knows Photo. And because of him, I learned how to use a camera and how to take good photos in the background and all that kind of good stuff. And that helped me build my business. So over time, I would go out and I would do things that customers couldn't or wouldn't want to do, which was literally go and take photos and videos and post it for them over the course of the month. The problem is there's no way to show how much money you were making the client. So then I realized, well, if somebody comes in from social media and they go to your website stinks, right? There's no way to put it, because some people's websites, they are just not good. So what do you do for those people, right? Well, now I have another solution that I could sell them. I could build them a website. I built websites in the past. I built websites when I first started my company. And I built websites because I started a podcast a year prior to me starting my business. And I went through tons of iterations and playing around and learning all about the internet and websites. So I literally took that and said, you know what? I'm going to start with social media, and I'm going to migrate it over to a digital marketing agency. And that is literally how I started my company, saying, hey, I could provide that service. I could do it better than other people. I might not be the best in the world at it, but I promise you my work ethic will do far better than any of these other people, because it's 11 o'clock at night some nights and I'm still working in the office to make sure that I'm staying ahead of the competition and my customers are staying ahead of their competition, right? So that's kind of how this whole thing came about. But it literally all started on my cell phone, right? And that's how I progressed. I started out as a social media agency, social media marketing agency, and then worked my way into a full-blown digital marketing agency. This time has gone on now, and that took about 6 months to 1 year to figure out. And then after that first year is really when I started to take off. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because there's a lot that people think that you could just rush. And I am the first person to say, I want everything done yesterday. And I'm also willing to pay for everything to be done yesterday. So it took a while for me to learn and grow and build. My channel name is The Millennial Entrepreneur, right? So I want to tell you guys literally about not only how I make money, right? I've talked a lot about LinkedIn, and I'm going to probably continue talking about LinkedIn and how I prospect and find new clients and things like that. But ultimately, my journey and things that I could teach you guys on how to do better, right? So I might bring in some photography, I might bring in some videography, I might bring in some audio and things like that, because I do have a podcast that I've been running for 3 years. Like, these are all different things that go through my brain. And when I literally started my business, I had 2 or 3 paychecks I was expecting, and that's it, right? I didn't have, a couple $1,000s to sit on. I literally said, I'm going to go do this. Even the office that I'm in, I literally built. It was a warehouse. My buddy let me stay in here, and I would come in at night and build my office, right? And I built a whole podcast studio. You guys have seen it in earlier videos and stuff like that. And even till today, I'm constantly getting newer and better equipment to make myself better at what I do and help me leverage my equipment to make it a better overall final product. So now let's get into how I manage all of these accounts, because that's probably why you're here. And honestly, I don't know the exact topic of this video, but we're just going to go with it. And how I manage all my accounts, and I'm going to give you guys a full tutorial in another video, is I use a software called Eclincher. Now, there's 3 softwares that I've tried so far. Actually, it might even be 4. But the 3 off the top of my head are Hootsuite, Buffer, and Eclincher. Now, I hate Hootsuite. There were so many limitations. It was so expensive after you passed just a couple clients, and ultimately it just became unfeasible. The other problem with it was very, very picky when it came to images. So if the image was taken on my nice camera as opposed to my cell phone, it would give me a hard time. It was too high a resolution, this, that, and the other thing. So somebody came over and told me, hey, Harrison, you're using the wrong software. Go check out a software called Buffer. And I'm going to link all these down in the description below. I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. I've used them. I'm giving you my personal opinion on all of them. And Buffer was great. But the problem is it was a little sloppy. It was kind of all over the place, and it was too broad. It wasn't like organized enough, but it was really, really good because I could manage way more accounts for super cheap. And not only that, but I had a phone app. I could use it wherever, but I ran into a bunch of hiccups. Finally, I landed on a software called Eclincher, thanks to another competitor of mine, gave me some insight and said, check this out. And I literally listened to them and went and tried out that software. Now, that software is still what I use today to manage 30 or 40 different accounts. And on there, because I have that many accounts that I help customers with, and on there, I could do just about everything. And I could add them as users, and they could see what's going up, and all of that kind of stuff. And ultimately, it brings a ton of different stuff to me and helps me grow my business. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because if you're a small business owner and you're thinking, hey, what software should I use to grow my business? Well, I'm not telling you what software you should use to grow your business, but if you're looking to make it foolproof and you want to use social media to grow, I would highly recommend, believe it or not, and I hate to say this, is if you just have 3 accounts, use Hootsuite. It's dummy proof. It's so easy to use. It's going to tell you exactly what you can and can't use. But if you're looking to get a little more in-depth, a little more customization and things like that, I highly recommend checking out Buffer or Eclincher because they are just phenomenal platforms. They're a little more advanced and they allow a lot more functionality for your business. There's more to know and things like that, and I'll let you figure that out on your own. But ultimately, that's how I started my business. I started out with an iPhone, grew it with these softwares, Buffer, Eclincher, and Hootsuite, and ultimately got it to where I am today, where now I'm offering website services, SEO services, and I have a couple employees that work with me on a regular basis. So that's how I grew it. That's kind of everything. This video is really to test out what these colors look like and all that kind of stuff, but I thought it would be pretty cool to share with you guys my history, ultimately how I've made more sales, how I've offered new things and things like that have complemented what I've worked with. So I hope this video helps. My name is Harrison Barron, the Millennial Entrepreneur. Hope you guys found this enjoyable. I hope you guys like the new setup. Until next time, bye.